Hey everybody, welcome to our Thursday at 3 writing workshop. I'm Michael Hefflinger with Write 253 in Tacoma, Washington. And I'm really excited today to be doing a workshop in partnership with Tacoma Ocean Fest, which is taking place this year, September 13th, 2020, down at the Foss Waterway Seaport here in Tacoma. If you're not familiar with Ocean Fest, it's a really cool event where they have workshops and arts projects and games all dedicated to learning more about and paying tribute to the ocean. You should definitely check it out, and we'll throw their website information up here in a second. But for those of you who don't know, Tacoma Ocean Fest has a story contest every year, and they accept film submissions, and they also accept poetry submissions. And so that's why we're partnering with them today to do a little poetry writing workshop as a way of kind of getting ideas flowing. And that workshop is open to students, middle and high school, Tacoma Public, and also at Chief Leschi. So if you're one of those folks, you should definitely check out their website and submit. If you are not one of those folks, it's okay, write a poem with us. The world needs as many wonderful ocean poems as it can get. So let's go ahead and jump into this. We've got a little PowerPoint that we're going to go through that's going to lay out the workshop, and then my disembodied voice talking through it with you. And I'll have some contact information for you at the end, places where you can post your poems, places where you can send your poems, and also ways you can submit to the story contest. So let's get into it. What are you going to need for this workshop? Pretty basic stuff, something to write on and something to write with. So pause it now if you need to go grab a piece of paper or your writing book, or if you're going to set up a Word doc or something, or type it into your phone, and grab a pencil or a pen or whatever you need, and then hop back in and we'll get started. Okay, we're going to start out. First things first, let's make a list. Kind of a way to get the pen moving, way to get the brain moving, way to start thinking about what we're gonna write as our poem today. So the first thing on your list is going to be, and this is in your opinion, so if you're doing this with somebody else in the room, you might have a different answer to this question than they do, and that's okay, because this is all about what you think. What is the most ferocious animal in the ocean? Ferocious animal. The most ferocious. Ferocious? No, ferocious. All right, let's move on. What is the most beautiful animal in the ocean, in your opinion? What is the most beautiful animal in the ocean? And the most beautiful animal and the most ferocious animal could be the same thing if you want. I don't see why not. But what to you is the most beautiful animal in the ocean? Number 3, what is the most misunderstood animal in the ocean, right? And that can mean a few things. So perhaps what is the animal that gets a bad rap? What is the animal that people think is perhaps super violent, but actually is just doing what it needs to do to survive? Or what is the animal that looks super cuddly, but is actually a stone cold killer? What is the most misunderstood animal in the ocean? In your opinion, what is the most delicate animal in the ocean? And again, that can mean a variety of things. It could be the most physically delicate, or it could be the one that is most in danger, or it could be the one that is most emotionally sensitive, if you want to perceive it that way. But what is the most delicate animal in the ocean? Which animal would you like to most have as a pet? And imagine, I guess, that you have the capability of housing a whale in your backyard because you have some kind of giant whale tank, although I do not recommend getting whales as pets. But I think more abstractly and more surrealistically, what animal would you like to live among you in your house or around where you live in your apartment building or in your yard? What animal would you most like to have as a pet that lives currently in the ocean? What is the happiest animal in the ocean, in your opinion? And conversely, what is the saddest animal in the ocean, in your opinion? And don't feel like you have to know everything about the ocean to answer these questions, right? Or if you feel like this is a good time for you to hit pause on the workshop and head into the internet a little bit to learn a little bit more about what animals do actually live out in the ocean, or that would help you create this list, go for it, right? There's no rules to this. It's up to you to kind of put down what you think is the right answer. So don't stress it too much. That's the last one. That's our list. If we were all in person right now together in a classroom, this would be the place where I would love to hear some of the answers that you have written down. But, maybe if you're working with somebody, you can share your answers with somebody in the room. Or if you want, just post your list to Instagram and hit up at right.253 and just let us know what your list is. Maybe put some cool pictures of the animals along with it. All right. So let's transition into a poem by Shara McCollum called The Spider Speaks. And I'm going to post a slide here with the poem, and I'll read the poem aloud. And as I'm reading aloud, and as you're reading along with me, I want you to think about some of these points. What is the voice of the spider in the poem? How does she speak? Is she loud? Is she quiet? Is she determined? Is she angry? Is she funny? Right? Is she a smart aleck? What kind of spider is this? So we're thinking about the voice of the spider and also what we call tone, right? What's the tone of the poem? Is it an angry poem? Is it like a happy poem? Is it a mournful poem? Try to get the sense of what the poet is doing in terms of giving the spider these qualities. And secondly, what are the spider's concerns in the poem, right? What is the spider thinking about in the day-to-day? What is the spider's normal thought process based on what we know in this poem? What is its concerning? What are its concerning thoughts right now in the universe of this poem? And then the third thing is, do you think this spider is meant to represent something besides a spider? If so, what? If not, that's fine. It can just be a spider. But if you think it means something else, what is that other thing that the spider represents? Okay, let's take a look at this poem. The spider speaks. No choice but to spin the life given. Mother warned me I would wake one dawn to a sun no longer yellow, to an expanse of blue, no proper word to name it. Weaving the patterned threads of my life, each day another web and the next. If instead I could carve my message in stone, would it mean more? I have only this form to give. When the last silvery strand leaves my belly, I will see what color the sun has become. Okay, so that's our poem. And I just realized, I'm going to double check this in my book, that I've put Miss McCollum's name down twice, and they're both different. I want to make sure I get it right. So I'm going to check my book to make sure which one. It is Shara, like I have on the first slide, not Sharon, like I have on the second slide. So it's Shara McCollum. So let's break this poem down a little bit. Back to the original questions. What is the voice of the spider, right? Is this a super happy spider? And I'm not going to answer these questions for you. I want you to think about these things yourself. What type of spider is it? And what is the spider talking about in its life, right? What is it reflecting upon? I did find a pretty cool kind of reading guide about this poem online. That if you just Google this poem, you can find it. to get a sense of what the poem is about a little bit if you need help with that, but don't worry too much about it. The things that I want you to take away from it are that the poem is written in the voice of a spider speaking out to the world, right? The I in the poem is the spider. It's not a human telling a spider story. It's coming from the spider. And that's the task that I want you to kind of dive into today with the poem. So if we look back at our questions, what are the spider's concerns? Do you think the spider is meant to represent something besides a spider? What is the voice of the spider? Those are the three things I want you thinking about when you write your poem, which is what we're going to do next. So on a separate sheet of paper, go back to that first list that you made. Pick one of those animals, or if you've got another animal that lives in the ocean that you would like to do this with. And in the voice of that animal, write a poem speaking out to the world. How does this animal feel about itself? What does it sound like? What are its concerns? Who is it? Think of the angriest blowfish poem that you can write. Think of the happiest sea turtle poem that you can write. What does that animal want us as readers to know about its condition? Okay, so you might do a little bit of research. If you want to do a poem that's about a shark, but you don't know too much about sharks, maybe read up a little bit about sharks and then write your shark poem. Try to put your shark in sort of interesting spaces, right? Once you've got your poem written, you want somebody to look at it, hit me up at info@write253.com. Just email it to me. Give you some notes on it. Take a look at it. Or you can post it to Instagram and tag write.253. That's our Instagram feed. Follow us. Check us out what we're doing. We do a workshop every Thursday at 3 o'clock. We'll post a new workshop. So it's a good way to stay connected if you're on Instagram. If you're not, that's okay. We are also on Twitter, Facebook, or you can email us at info. All right. And then, of course, submit to Ocean Fest. You can go to www.oceanfest.org and look for youth story submissions. And you can get all the submission info. There are prizes, and you get to come read your poem at the fest in September. So it's definitely a cool project. We are going to be doing another Ocean Fest-based workshop on May the 7th, which is in 2 weeks. And we'll be looking on that day at something called eco-poetics. So if you're interested in eco-poetics, you might want to check us out for that workshop on May the 7th. And that's it. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us, Tacoma, Washington. We appreciate it. And get in touch with us. Thanks. Bye.